Hello, my name is Norberto Safa binti Muhammad Zaini. My mentor number is S66026 and I'm going to present about my final year project. My final year project title is Environmental, Social and Governance Factors and Challenges in Logistics, a case study of Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. For the introduction, this study explored the key factors, challenges in implementing environmental, social, and governance practice at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, Malaysia. Using a quantitative method, data were collected from 70 employers through structured questionnaire. The results show that governance rules, digital technology, resource efficiency, and leadership are the key drivers of ESG. However, issues like high cost, low employees' awareness, lack of training, and difficulty tracking ESG progress still exist. The study recommends improving ESG training, investing in green technologies, and engaging stakeholders more effectively. These findings offer useful guidance for logistics companies aiming to adopt more sustainable practice. 1. Origins background. In recent years, ESG has become essential in shaping sustainable business practice, especially in logistics. Stakeholders now expect companies to reduce environmental harm, act ethically, and show social responsibility. Tasco Berhad, a major logistics firm in Malaysia, has committed to ESG goals such as cutting greenhouse gas emissions and improving worker safety. However, applying ESG at operational level, like in the Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, brings challenges including high costs, limited resources, and low employee awareness. This study explored the key factors and challenges in ESG implementation at the center. For this background, while Tasco Berhad has outlined strong ESG goals in its sustainability plan, implementing this principle at the operational level is more complex. Issues like limited budget, lack of infrastructure, and difficulty in tracking ESG progress can create a gap between planning and actual practice. These challenges may prevent full achievement of ESG goals on the ground. Since limited studies have been done at the logistics center level, this research focuses on understanding the real obstacles faced at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. And for the research objective, this study has two main objectives. First, to identify the key factors that influence the implementation of ESG practice at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, and the second is to explore the challenges the center faces in putting ESG into action. The study aims to provide insight that help improve ESG in logistic operation. For the first question, this study aims to answer two main questions. First, it looks at the key factors that influence the implementation of ESG practice at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, including what helps support or drive ESG effort in daily logistic operations. Second, it explores the challenges that companies face in applying ESG practice, such as obstacles that may slow down or prevent effective adoption. By addressing this question, the study hopes to provide useful insight to improve ESG performance in logistic operations. And the last is important of the study. For students, the study is important for students as it provides a real-life example of how ESG practices are implemented in logistics center. It helps students connect theoretical concepts of sustainability and corporate responsibility to practical industry operation. By understanding the real challenges and strategies used by Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, students can gain deeper insight into how ESG impact the logistics center and prepare themselves for future careers in sustainability logistics management. Second, for future researchers, this study offers a valuable reference on the practical aspect of ESG implementation in Malaysian logistics operation, as there is limited academic research focused on ESG at the operational level, especially in local context. This case study serves as a starting point for deeper exploration. The finding can be used to develop comparative studies, explore different industry sectors, or examine ESG performance across various regions and logistic environment. And lastly, for logistic professionals and industrial players, this study is beneficial for logistic professionals and industrial players because it highlights key factors and real-world challenges in applying ESG principles at the operational level. By learning from Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center experience, they can improve their own sustainability practices, adapt effective strategy, and align more closely with stakeholder expectations and ESG standards. The insight gained may help them achieve better ESG performance and competitive advantage in logistics industry. Chapter 2. For literature review, environmental, social, and governance (ESG) concerns are becoming vital for companies aiming to be sustainable and responsible. In logistics, ESG is still developing. Logistic operations contribute significantly to environmental issues like carbon emission and energy consumption. Companies are adopting greener technologies, but this often requires high investment and advanced skill. Social factors such as employee health and welfare also affect logistic performance, yet are often overlooked. Strong governance help companies remain compliant, build trust, and manage ethical operation. But this area also lack attention in logistics. This study has filled a gap by focusing on ESG practice in a real logistics setting in Malaysia. Key conceptuals and study. Firstly is ESG principle. The ESG framework guides businesses to act responsibility toward the environment, social, and internal governance. In logistics, this includes reducing emissions, ensuring fair treatment of workers, and maintaining ethical governance. ESG is not just about regulation, but embedding sustainable practice into daily operations. Studies show that applying ESG improves risk management, economic performance, and stakeholder trust. ESG is also a strategic tool for companies to remain competitive while being sustainable. The second is sustainable logistics. Sustainable logistics means managing logistic activities to reduce environmental harm, promote social well-being, and maintain cost-efficient. It involves reducing emissions, using eco-friendly transport, and supporting fair labor practice. Studies highlight practices like green transportation and reverse logistics as a key to boosting environmental and economic outcomes. Sustainable logistics also help companies save costs through a better energy use and smarter inventory management, making it a long-term competitive strategy. Thirdly is challenges in ESG implementation. Implementing ESG practice can be difficult due to high costs, lack of awareness, and limited tools for performance measurement. For logistics, upgrading technology and infrastructure require back investment. Employees may lack ESG knowledge, and data ESG performance can be incomplete or hard to collect. These challenges often slow down or weaken ESG implementation at the operational level, especially in logistics sector like Tasco Ipoh. For the next is stakeholder theory. Stakeholder theory says companies should consider the need of all parties involved, including employees, customers, and the community. This approach helps build trust, reduce risk, and increase the value of ESG activities. Companies that engage stakeholders are more likely to succeed in long-term ESG performance and improve their reputation. Lastly, resource-based view (RBV). The resource-based view explains that companies use ESG to build unique strengths and improve both financial and social performance. ESG efforts like innovation, strong governance, and ethical practice help companies stand out, improve efficiency, and build loyalty. These capabilities give a firm long-term advantage over competitors. Key debates and controversy. Firstly, environmental sustainability versus cost. A major debate in logistics is balancing environmental sustainability with cost control. Green technologies can help the planet but are expensive to adopt. For companies like Tasco, high cost of renewable energy system or cleaner transport make it hard to implement sustainable operation without effective profit. This raises concern about the affordability of green logistics. Second is governance and regulation issues. Good governance is vital for ESG success, but logistics field in Malaysia face complex and changing regulations. This can make ESG compliance but difficult and cause companies to react slowly to new rules. Weak governance may risk non-compliance and damage company reputation, especially in a strict ESG environment. Thirdly, social responsibility versus workforce challenge. While social responsibility is important, logistics firms face challenges in employing it. Problems like high staff turnover, safety risks, and pressure from fast delivery service make it hard to prioritize worker welfare. This is tension between running efficient operation and ensuring fair and safe working conditions employees. For the last is stakeholder engagement and transparency. Clear communication and stakeholder engagement are essential for successful ESG practices. However, logistics companies often struggle to communicate ESG efforts clearly and build trust. Lack of standard reporting system and data issues make it transparency difficult. This weakens stakeholder confidence in ESG claims. Gap in executive knowledge. Firstly, limited case-specific issues on ESG implementation in Malaysian logistics center. Most ESG studies focus on large company or global industry. There is very little issues on ESG in Malaysian logistics center like Tasco Ipoh. This limited understanding of how ESG work in local setting and the unique challenge faced by logistic players in Malaysia. Second, weak integration with operation. ESG factors are often treated separately from day-to-day logistic operation. Many studies don't show how ESG is applied in tasks like transport planning or inventory. This gap makes it harder for logistics centers to connect ESG goals with actual businesses practice on the ground. Thirdly, underexplored social element in logistic ESG. Environmental and governance issues get more attention than social issues in ESG studies. Yet, in logistics, social concerns like worker safety, training, and fair treatment are critical. Ignoring these areas weaken ESG credibility, especially in labor-intensive operations like Tasco. And lastly is challenges in ESG measure and reporting specific to logistics. ESG reporting in logistics is difficult due to lack of standard tools. With global systems like ESG score exists, they don't fully fit logistic operation. Without proper local metric, it's hard to track and compare ESG performance in logistics center, creating confusion for stakeholders and slowing improvement. Chapter 3. This chapter explains the research method used in the study. It covers the research design, instrument, and data collection, sampling, and analysis technique to better understand the factors and challenges of ESG implementation in a logistics company. A quantitative approach was used to collect and analyze numerical data offering faster results and clearer insight into employees' attitude and behaviors. This structured method ensures reliable and valid findings for the study. For research design, this study used a quantitative research design with a survey distributed via Google Forms. The survey collected data from Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center employees to identify ESG-related factors and challenges. Using online forms, support sustainability, increase participation, and improve data management. In addition to the survey, secondary data such as journal, reports, and articles were used to support and compare findings, giving a more complete view of the topic. Second is research instrument. The main tool used was a structured questionnaire divided into 4 sections: demographic, general ESG awareness, factor influencing ESG implementation, and the challenges faced. Questions include multiple choice and Likert scale format to ensure clear, measurable responses. A reliability test was conducted to ensure the consistency of the data. No pilot test was performed. Secondary audit data also supported the finding by providing background context and helping to validate survey responses. Data method collection. To collect useful information, a structured questionnaire was created and shared using Google Forms. This survey targeted employees at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center to gather data related to the factors and challenges of implementing ESG practice. The questionnaire used multiple choice and Likert scale questions to collect numerical data that could be analyzed statistically. The survey was distributed to all employees at the center, including warehouse and office staff, to ensure broad participation. Using Google Forms helped improve data collection and organization by allowing real-time access and better management of responses. In addition to the survey, secondary data such as academic articles, industry reports, and white papers were also used. This resource helped provide a deeper understanding of the topic and supported the primary data with broader industry insight. For sampling technique, the study used purposive sampling, selecting employees who have relevant knowledge of logistics in ESG practice. Respondents came from various departments including warehouse and administration. A total of 70 employees participated, some with over 25 years of experience. This method ensured the data was meaningful and aligned with the study objective to understand both ESG factors and challenges in a real logistics setting. Data analysis method. The data was analyzed using descriptive statistics including frequency, percentage, and mean score. This helps summarize the responses and identify key trends. Tools like SPSS or Excel were used for accuracy. Secondary data was also reviewed and compared with survey results to confirm findings and provide deeper insight into ESG implementation in logistic operation. In conclusion, this chapter explains the structured methodology used to explore ESG implementation at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center by using a quantitative survey and purposive sampling of 17 experienced staff, the study gathered reliable and relevant data. Descriptive analysis provides clear insight, while secondary data resources help validate the findings and add depth to the overall study. Chapter 4. A total of 70 employees from various departments at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center TILC participated in the study. The respondents represent different job functions, giving a broad view of ESG implementation across the organization. The measure include warehouse staff, driver, and logistic coordinator, reflecting the cooperation team. Additional insight come from supervisor and customer service representative in support and mid-level roles. Decision-making input was provided by an operation manager, a sales manager, and accounting. A custom agent also contribute, offering a regulatory perspective. This diverse group ensure a well-rounded understanding of the ESG factors and challenges at TLC. Section A, Demographic Information. For gender, out of 17 respondents from Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center (TLC), 58.8% were male and 41.2% were female. This shows a slightly higher male representation in the logistics workforce. For age, the largest age group among TLC employees is 50 until 59 years old, which is 41.2%, followed by 40 until 49 years old, which is 29.4%. Both 20 until 29 years old and 30 until 39 years old recorded 11.8%. Only 5.9% was aged 60 and above, showing that most employees are in mid to late career stage. The majority of 30 respondents completed secondary school. This is followed by vocational training to respondents. Only 5.9% had no formal education, and another one respondent held a diploma. No respondent had a bachelor or postgraduate degree. For current job title role in company, most respondents work as warehouse staff, driver, or logistics coordinator, which is 3 respondents each. Roles like customer service representative and supervisor were held by 2 respondents each. Other positions such as sales manager, accounts billing, custom agent, and operation manager were each represented by 1 respondent. The last data analysis on the demographic question is the higher portion of respondents. 4 respondents have worked 11 until 15 years at TLC. This is followed by 16 until 20 years and 20 plus years. Both are 17.6%. Employees with 1 until 5 years, 6 until 10 years, and 20 until 25 years of service each make up 2 respondents. Only 1 respondent has been with the company for less than 1 year. Section B, General Question. The result of data analysis for the first question is, at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, 7 respondents state that ESG practices are partially implemented with ongoing improvement, meanwhile 5 respondents reported that ESG is fully implemented and integrated into daily operation. Another 2 respondents said the company is either planning to implement ESG or is interested but has not implemented it. Only 1 respondent noted that ESG is not implemented and there is no plan to adopt it. For the second question, regarding communication, 8 respondents said ESG practices are clearly communicated but not frequently. Another 6 respondents felt ESG is rarely communicated. Only 2 respondents report that ESG goals are clearly and regularly communicated. Just 1 respondent stated that ESG is not communicated at all, highlighting the need for improved internal communication. Data analysis for the last question is, when asked which ESG area need the most improvement, 40 respondents believe that all ESG areas, environmental, social, and governance, are equally important. 2 respondents highlighted the social aspect as the main area needing attention. Only 1 respondent was unsure, while none selected environmental or governance as standalone focus area. Reliability test. A reliability test measures the consistency and stability of research instruments such as a questionnaire. It ensures that the data collected is dependable and free from freedom errors. In this study, Cronbach alpha was used to test the reliability of the questionnaire, especially for Likert scale items. A value above 0.70 is considered acceptable, and value closer to 1.00 indicate higher reliability. For objective 1, the Cronbach alpha value was 0.947, which fall into the excellent category. This result indicates a very high level of internal consistency across the 10 questionnaire items with no data excluded. The instrument is therefore considered highly reliable for identifying key ESG factors influencing Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. For objective 2, the Cronbach alpha value was 0.942, also indicating excellent internal consistency. All 10 items and 17 responses were valid, confirming that the questionnaire is highly reliable for assessing the challenges in implementing ESG practice at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. Frequency. Frequency analysis is a statistical method used to show how often a particular response or value appears in a data set. It helps researchers identify patterns and trends in survey or questionnaire results. By counting the number of times each answer occurs, it gives a clear picture of how common certain responses are. According to Houseking, frequency analysis also helps in estimating how likely an event is to happen, making it useful for understanding data and making informed decisions. Mode, mean, median, standard deviation, and variance. The mean is the average value of a dataset calculated by adding all values and dividing by the number of values. The mode is the value that appear most frequently and can apply to numbers or categories. The median is the middle number when values are arranged in order and is useful when the data is skewed. The 3 measures help describe the central tendency of a dataset. Standard deviations show how spread out the values are around the mean, while variance is the average of the square different from the mean. Both standard deviation and variance help measure how consistent or varied the data is. This is the data analysis result for Objective 1. Objective 1 is to identify the key factors influencing the implementation of ESG practices at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. Based on Table 5, the frequency analysis for Objective 1 showed that the most respondents support the implementation of ESG practice at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. The higher response was 64.7% for question 1, where respondents agree that ESG standards are important in the logistics industry, highlighting the role of government's regulation in promoting ESG. The lowest frequency, 5.9, was recorded in strongly disagree category for question 1, 3, 4, and 5, which related to regulation, resource efficiency, strategy, and workplace support. Overall, most respondents selected agree and strongly agree, reflecting a positive perception and strong support for ESG practice. Based on Table 6, the analysis of mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance helped to identify employee perceptions on ESG implementation at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. The highest mean value, 3.88, was for question 3, showing strong agreement that ESG improved resource efficiency, like due to visible operation benefit like reduced waste and energy use. The lowest mean, 3.35 was for questions 6 and 7, suggesting that employee may lack ESG awareness or the customer pressure is not a major driver of ESG practice. The median and mode value across all questions were consistently 4.00, meaning most respondents selected agree. Standard deviation and variance were highest in question 9, reflecting different view on the company's financial capacity to support ESG. The lowest variation was in question 3, indicating strong agreement on the benefit of ESG tools as well. Overall, employees support ESG implementation, but challenges remain in areas like financial readiness, internal knowledge, and customer influence. This is the top analysis result for Objective 2. Objective 2 to investigate the challenges faced by Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center in implementing ESG practices. Table 8 presents the frequency of responses related to the challenges of implementing ESG at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. The highest frequency, 52.9%, was for question 1, indicating the most employees agree high energy usage is a key barrier to achieving environmental goals. The lowest frequency, 5.9%, appear in the strongly disagree category across several questions, showing that only a small number of respondents dismissed challenges like high investment costs, lack of training, changing requirements, poor data system, and resistance to change. Overall, most participants agree or strongly agree with the list challenges, highlighting common internal and external barriers that must be addressed for successful ESG implementation at TILC. This is the data analysis result for mood, mean, median, standard deviation, and variance for Objective 2. Table 9 presents descriptive statistics on the challenges of implementing ESG at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center. The higher mean score, 3.59, was recorded for issues related to safety standards in data system, showing strong agreement that these are major barriers. In contrast, the lowest mean, 3.12, was for waste management, suggesting it is viewed as less of a concern. Most questions had a median of 4.00 except for investment costs, waste and training, which had a median of 3.00, reflecting more neutral view. All items had a mode of 4, indicating agree was the most common responses. The widest variation in responses came from question 7, changing ESG demands, while the most consistent view was seen in question 2, cost of green technology. Overall, the data highlight the safety, cost, and data system are widely acknowledged challenges, while perspective on other issues vary depending on employee roles or experience. Lastly, recommendation and conclusion. To enhance ESG implementation at Tasco Ipoh Logistics Center, 3 key recommendations are proposed. First, increase employee awareness and training by introducing structured ESG education program, regular workshop, and internal communication. This effort will help employees understand the importance of ESG and promote a culture of sustainability. Second, invest in sustainable technologies such as electric vehicle, automation, and digital tracking systems. These technologies support ESG goals while improving operational efficiency and reducing environmental impact. Third, strengthen stakeholder engagement by involving employees, customers, communities, and regulators in ESG planning. This approach builds trust, ensures compliance, and align strategies with stakeholder expectations. In conclusion, this study identified the main factors and challenges influencing ESG implementation at Tasco. It highlighted the importance of leadership, clear policies, and stakeholder involvement, while recognizing barriers like high costs, limited resources, and lack of awareness. Addressing this issue through sustainable investment, employee
Training and transparent ESG practice will help Tasco and similar logistic firms achieve long-term sustainability and remain competitive in the evolving logistics industry. Thank you.